Driven, RE/MAX Hallmark's real estate show, with your hosts, Johnder, Perez, and Dan Salhany.
Welcome everybody to the RE/MAX Hallmark Driven show. I'm your host, Dan Salhany, here with
Johnder, Perez.
And we have the privilege today to interview our lovely Tara Descoteaux. Tara is a realtor working out of our Innis office with the P-Loan team. So basically, we're going to get right into it, guys. We usually take about a half an hour to go through the interview. We have a series of questions that we're going to filter through with Tara. And then at the end of it, if you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat, and we'll certainly address those questions if any of you guys have any specifics that you'd like to find out about Tara. And we'll also post her contact information for any opportunities for referrals and so forth, if need be. So we've got people from different regions already on the call. We've got members of the P-Loan team. So welcome, Tara. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is very exciting.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead with the very first question. Your situation's actually, a little bit unique. So I'm going to deviate away from it, but give us a little bit of history about Tara. How long you've been in real estate, what your journey has been since you got into the industry, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay. Got into real estate in 2015. We got posted to Ottawa. My husband is military. So coming here, I didn't have a network at all. So I had to use what I had, which was my kids and my husband. And it started from there. I was a single agent for approximately a year. I did 17 transactions in my first year. And it was that I wanted to become better. And how do you become better? You surround yourself with great people. And I have been blessed ever since to be in this amazing group with the P-Loan group. So
that's fantastic. So how long have you been a licensed realtor?
Since 2015.
2015. Okay, so 6.5. You're into your 7th year. So interesting little bit of journey there, and I think what's really important in this conversation today, in this interview, is the fact that you came into an environment where you didn't have a network whatsoever. So that for me was really, really inspiring when you and I chatted in the hallway, and where your growth has gone. So just so you guys know that last year, Tara achieved a platinum, excuse me, she received platinum level for her achievements. So congratulations on that. And that's all the while being with the team. So brilliant. Johnder.
Tara, we're going to go through that journey that you took, because it is a very interesting journey, as we discovered in our pre-interview. But let's start with this question, because I'm sure a lot of us would like to hear, how do you achieve, for example, platinum as part of a team? What is the secret to your success in the real estate business?
I have surrounded myself by amazing people and who are filled with knowledge. Being a realtor, I think we all get into this business thinking that we can do everything. And I think being on a team that can provide so much value and can actually pick up the slack where I actually lack, has been the best value, and being able to recognize that.
It's interesting that you say that, because you came from a situation where, you entered into the real estate business. You actually had a really great first year. I mean, that's a brilliant amount of volume for somebody that isn't from the community and has just moved here. And then you had this epiphany that basically said, I got to do something here.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because doing it was a lot of deals, especially because I got into it with a lot of other agents, but nobody's really happy for you when you're the one that's doing so well. So being on a team, I'm surrounded by people that are always bringing me higher and supporting that. So to be in an environment where it's all it's surrounded by positive people and that are cheering me to get higher and higher, not bringing you down. I think that's why I chose to go on a team versus being a single agent. So yeah, you can do it on your own, but it's a lot funner being surrounded by people that are encouraging you to keep going and supporting you along the way.
So let's rewind here a little bit, because we just learned that you're part of a team. You achieved your accomplishment as part of a team, but let's rewind to when you actually got started, because it wasn't always like this. And why don't we discover, for example, Tara, how upon coming to Ottawa, did you know anybody? Did you have any networks, or did you have any friends? So why don't you bring us to that journey, and then let's take it from the absolute start of what you did, how you got your first, couple of transactions. And by couple, I mean, how much did you do in your first year? I think, what, 17 transactions, more or less, or so. Why don't we take a look at that first, and then see how you evolve from that to go into a team.
So I did things a little differently. I didn't start it with Remax. I started with a different company who had a model that didn't suit my true self, I guess you could say. So what I did was I focused on what I thought was going to work with me. So I never went out and tried to like sign 100 clients. I would work to get 1 or 2 clients, and I treated them so well and made sure that I did such a good job with them that they wanted to refer me. So door knocking, cold calling was never something that fit for me. It was just working in a smaller network and letting that grow naturally versus trying to make it bigger before it was.
So you basically, you leveraged your kids, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And your
And my husband. Yes, for sure. And getting into the business, I remember the training that was provided for me, which was come into the office, get organized, like set up who you have to call, what you have to do. I didn't do that. What I did was I would book showings on every property. So instead of coming into the office, I was actually out viewing properties. I made sure that every townhouse in the network that in the area that I lived, I knew. So by the end of it, when I was ready to sell, I knew what model I was walking into. I knew how many square feet or the square footage of a home. So it was those things that made my comfort level more, I was more confident walking in, selling something when I knew it. So
market knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Market knowledge and knowing what things were going to sell for based on, just doing my research. So I just did things a little bit differently, I think, than some other new agents starting out.
So if you had to share with us what your biggest challenges were, year one being a solo agent, and then of course, year 2 and moving forward, because we've all got challenges and we've all got ongoing challenges, but what was the biggest challenge when you entered into the real estate industry?
Ego. 100%.
Your own or everybody else's?
My ego was, I can do it all. I've like I'm the best. I'm going to do this, which I think I proved I could do it, but it's not fun. It's not fun doing it on your own. It's not, I struggle at being organized and not organized in my work, but organized in other things. So being on a team just helped me focus on what I'm good at, and knowing that I'm surrounded by people that are picking up the things that I'm not necessarily good at, if that makes sense.
I was going to hold you true to that statement. Yesterday in our pre-interview, one of the things you made, and I made a notation, and I said, she came out and she said, I really know what I'm good at, and I really know what I'm not good at. So I think that self-awareness and recognizing that, sometimes when you hand over the authority to others to take care of certain things for you, allows you to focus on the things that you're really good at. And it sounds like your thing is probably the communication part of it and leveraging the people around you and whatnot. Johnder.
And so you had something written on your hand. This is just something interesting that we also discovered yesterday. You had something written on your hand, and I don't know if you have something written on your hand today, but why don't you kind of sort of relate to how what did you write on your hand today?
Today it's focused.
Focus. Yesterday was what?
Listen.
Okay, so what was the significance between yesterday's listen and then today's focus? How does that sort of guide you and help you? Because one of the important points that you made is know what you're good at and know what maybe you need help with, and that's sort of how you journey towards being a team. But how does this reminder that you write on there kind of help you out during the day?
Because before I used to get up and I would start my day, I'm sure just like everybody else does, get a coffee, grab your phone, start going through Facebook, what emails, what texts, and it's kind of like you spin out of control. So it was Jason who was the one who was like, take time for yourself. And it's always been, make sure you take the time for yourself. So I started not answering anything till 9 a.m. And I get up in the morning, and that's when I do my journaling and set my intention for the day. So based on that is why I'll write little notes to myself and what I need to stay. It's like today is staying focused on what task I need to complete. That.
So it's interesting, all that stuff that we talk about planning your day, having a vision board, reading positive stuff and positive affirmations and so forth. I mean, has it always been like that for you?
No. And not always, but it's like one of those things that your mom says, that who you surround yourself with is who you're going to be. And it didn't take me long, especially in real estate, to figure out if I'm not surrounding myself around positive people, that it's going to bring you down. So.
And it's very easy to get caught up in all the negativity, right? Like, so I know one of the things for you is you try to avoid that. You said yesterday that, if you could stay away from all that negativity and drama and so forth, that's your primary focus, on your journey through business and for personal and so forth. So give us an idea of what a typical day looks like for you.
I get up at the same time every day. So when I get up, like I said, I do my journaling. That is where I set my attention for the day, what I'm going to focus on. And there's some days that I take off completely, depending on whatever the situation is. I make sure that my day start with the most important, which is my family. Then I turn on my phone at 9, and that's when I start my work for the day.
It's interesting. Your phone is actually off?
It's not off, but I don't answer anything. So I have it on because I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and like my alarms and stuff. But other than that, I don't look at Facebook. I don't look at any social media or emails or text messages before 9 a.m. And that's my time with my family and to focus on all the intentions that I set up for the day.
Now I know why you didn't respond to my Instagram post. Thank you. I'm just teasing. It was about the show, by the way, today.
Okay. No, sorry, don't answer before 9.
All good. Johnder.
And you also mentioned something yesterday which was unique, to continue talking about like how you handle your day. How do you book appointments in terms of what you need done?
So I live one day at a time, and I have a note of everything that needs to be done, and I never book too far in advance. So I'm always booking just for the next day. I have notes on what needs to be done for like the following day, but I only book one day at a time.
Which is interesting because a lot of us, like for example, a client wants to show or see a house next week. How would you handle something like that?
We don't go show houses next week. We go today. I don't.
Which is perfect.
If you're planning for next week, that house is going to be gone by next week.
Mm,
We're getting it today or tomorrow. So that's why I don't need to plan anything past that.
Yeah.
If I have an active client and something comes up, it's either I'm going by myself and we're FaceTiming from the property. Either way, you're seeing it right away.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know what, I want to relay something back to. I don't know if we already mentioned it, but Dan, forgive me if this was already talked about, but there was an interesting way you joined the team, and I want to get into as well how you built your business as part of a team, because you certainly did it as an individual, but you discovered that part of your journey was to join the team. How did you become a part of this team? And then let's go into that after you tell us how you did that. How did you build your business up as part of this team to where it was today? So tell us how you got on the team, first of all.
I don't think they had an option. I basically lost a listing appointment to Jason, which I thought was going to be a slam dunk, and kind of drove me like a little crazy, to be honest. And then I literally started like finding out, okay, well, why did I lose to this guy? What's going on? What does he have that, I had a connection with somebody and they still picked him over me? Like, what is it? just started digging deeper, and it just came out that I loved the values that he had, and I loved the way he ran the business. And it was just a mindset that was the only team I was going to join, and no was not an option.
Mm-hmm. So what do you
So
mean by no is not an option?
we went through some interviews. It was about 3 weeks, I think, going through interviews with Jason and Sab, and I never heard anything back. So finally on the Sunday, I had messaged saying, I'm assuming everything is going great, but I'll be starting Monday morning. So I'm hoping I'm hired, because it's going to be awkward if I'm not.
So instead of them hiring you, you hired yourself for the team, and you told them, hey, I'm starting tomorrow. Which is really interesting. So as a team member, I mean, achieving platinum as a team member is very exceptional, right? I mean, achieving as a person or as an individual agent is already great. How are you building? You definitely see the value of being part of Jason's team, and and what you're deriving from it, based on your strengths and what you're good at. So how do you build your business up? Like, so for example, what is your goal when it comes to setting, the milestones that you need to achieve as part of the team, how you're contributing to it? How do you build your business up to this point, and where do you see yourself going?
So I see it easier being on a team to get to this point than I would on my own. It's because I'm on a team that focuses on just what I'm good at, not just what I'm good at, but they let me focus on what I'm good at. So if I'm just focused on what I'm good at, then I'm happy to do that. So it never feels like work. So I can see this like going higher and higher because I'm supported so well. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, no,
It does, yeah.
yeah,
absolutely. And I think for each individual, whether you're an independent agent and you have administrative help, or whether you decide to join a team, a progressive team, it's all about plugging in and trying to figure out, essentially what makes sense for you, right? What is it that you're lacking or that you're weak at or really strong at, and where do you want to focus the hours that you have available to you to doing the best things that, the things that are best that you're capable of doing and really want to do and really enjoy.
well, like a prime example, last
Sure.
night, I had a listing, and being in this industry and doing as many transactions as I do, I still have questions. So I'm still calling Jason at 10 o'clock at night, wondering what his point of view is, and like flip-flopping information back and forth. So I have that value of always having somebody to go to and either confirm or help me, just guide me through it. Even though I might even have the answer, it's nice to have that, backup to say, yeah, you're doing the right thing, or maybe you could try this. So
yeah, so the support, regardless of your production and your capabilities, just the support and the reassurance is super important for you, right? And it probably strengthens you with your bond with the team and seeing the value that you get out of being in that environment. So talk to us about motivation. What keeps you motivated to perform? I know you're performing at a pretty high level. I mean, you did 35 transactions last year?
yes. Yep.
So in the Ottawa region, for those of you that are not from Ottawa, the average realtor does 7 transactions a year. So doing 35 transactions in our marketplace is considerable, and it's quite a feat. So congratulations on that success. So what keeps you motivated to keep going? I mean, you're a mom, a wife, you've got 2 young kids, a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old. So I know that you're very involved with their day-to-day and their activities and so forth. So that obviously takes some space in your mind and in your head and your capabilities. So
that
motivation.
is exactly what keeps me motivated. Is what you just said.
On to the next question then. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But it goes back to my morning, when I start my journaling, they are my top priority. And that is why I'm here doing what I do, is for them. So it's easy to keep motivated when you have a good family behind. Well, you have a strong family behind you as well. So
amazing. So tell us about having been in real estate for 6 going on 7 years now. There's some people that are on the call right now that have been in the business for a long time, and there's some people that have been in the business for a year or 2. So what would your advice be to individuals primarily that are just moving into real estate, or maybe refocusing or resurging their career, that might have taken a little bit of a back pedal and now want to kick it into gear?
Every day is a fresh start. And do what makes you feel good. Like, don't ever, your reputation in this business goes a long way. And it's always stay true to who you are. Like, if you're doing something that doesn't make you feel good, then don't do it. It's okay to be wrong. And I think that's one of the hardest parts in this job, is saying, yeah, I made a mistake. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's getting up the next day and learning from that.
That's a very profound and humbling way of putting it, Tara, because let's face it, a lot of us in this business feels there's some sort of a persona we have to live up to, or some sort of an image that's out there that we've got to meet. And all of us are at different levels of this at any given time. And, life gets in the way. There's hardships and challenges as well. And of course, there's also successes and all of those things we celebrate. But that's I love the way that you put it. It makes absolute sense. And we just got to accept the fact that we are who we are. We're good at things. We're not good at certain things. And we've got to find that strength. And, the fact that you hit the reset button every single day and you just keep going. It's a refreshing way of looking at it, because as I'm sure you'll agree, things get tough in our business, right? And, if you let that compound, and probably the reason why you're so positive and energetic is, like, every single day is just a new day and new, full of opportunity and learning. So that's awesome.
Lots of energy, as I'm sure the Pilon team that's on the call can attest to. As can I. She definitely has lots of energy. You mentioned something about audiobooks. So talk to us a little bit about that. Like, what's the focus? What's the intention? What are you listening to? And what do you hope to get out of these books, or these reads, or these listens?
If anybody's interested in what I'm reading, send me a message after and I'll tell you exactly where I started. Basically, it's just working on myself and being a better person, so that I continue to have this energy where people want to be around me, and that I want to, you want to shine bright kind of thing. Like, it's just, don't sweat the small stuff. Right. And it's when you set your intention for the day, and that's why I have to put these reminders, because even though it's something I work at every day, I still easily get distracted, or I'll lose focus. And it's just bringing it back to that and making sure that my priorities are what actually really matters to me.
So is there something specific that you like to tune into that kind of moves you in a certain direction?
Wait, I can tell you what I'm reading right now, which is Super Attractor. And it's just one of those uplifting books that it's unless you're into these kind of, I think, books, it's hard to explain. But it just keeps me positive and keeps my goals bigger and bigger.
All right, there you go. So we're just going to open it up, guys. If anybody has any questions of Tara, if you want to, does anybody out there have anything that they'd like to ask, whether it's pertains to her on a individual level or spiritual level, or possibly on a team level, and what that's like, whether, there were certain attributes to, when she decided to look for a team, anything like that. What was she looking for? I mean, it sounds like the organization and the structure and the attitude was a big part of it, of the people that she surrounded herself with. No?
Everybody's being shy today.
I'm just going to take a look at the chat on our Jason, thank you for that. So Jason's just popped in the chat here saying she's not giving herself enough credit for the client experience that she creates. So, clearly that's a big focus for you. And I hear that when you say, I only book a day ahead. So it sounds like you're not overwhelming yourselves with expectations of how you've got to please all the multiples of people. Because I know as a large team, there's lots of opportunity that you guys have created for yourselves, and the team helps create for you guys. So how do you focus on that, and what does that look like, that client experience? Give us an idea of how you engage with them, and then what happens afterwards, and how do you keep in touch with your clients?
That's perfect, actually, because that is one thing that the team helps with is everybody has a certain role on this team. And having a client doesn't mean they just buy a house with us and we don't talk to them again. It's we're start to finish. And even afterwards, we have so many things that are done behind the scenes that keep our clients engaged. I don't know how that's get done because it's like the elves and the fairies. That's what gets done behind the scenes with the team. So again, I just focus on what I'm good at, and my communication line is always open with clients, whether it's coming back afterwards to see what they've done with the house or giving them ideas throughout the way.
So how much of your business, Tara, I mean, you know, obviously with the team, you've doubled the type of volume that you were doing before. And you know, we track that as well. So there's been an exponential growth for you over the last probably 36 months, more like the last 24 months. So where's the emphasis on your business and where you're getting your business? Is it through that client base and
It's
through
referrals.
the relationships that you're developing, eh?
It's referrals. And that is, it's what I focus on. And I, as a new agent, if I can't express this enough, don't worry about signing so many people. Worry about keeping the people happy that you have. And that is like the number one thing. It's so easy to get distracted and just like want to work with everybody versus just taking care of the people that you have.
So
And I think
nurturing.
that's why we do so good as a team, is because we don't just forget about somebody because they bought or sold a house with us. They're forever like with us. Like it's, whether you're just like, we're sending you out tickets to a home show, or they're always there, you know?
So we sat in on a seminar not too long ago, and apparently the average consumer that you interact with on that level has a value of about $187,000 through the lifetime of your relationship with them, if you nurture them properly. And it sounds like you're clearly on track with doing that, and doing it with consistency, because your numbers have, like I said, have grown exponentially in the last couple of years. And this is the sweet spot, right? Because you've tipped over year 5. You're into year 6 to year 7, and now all the fruits of all that hard work at the front end, because I'm sure it was difficult with your kids are 9 and 13 now. So 6 years ago you had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old type thing, or a 7-year-old or so. So definitely difficult, and especially coming into an environment where you didn't have family to support you with a growing family and so forth. And I think when you shared with us yesterday that your husband encouraged you to get into real estate, and he was a big proponent of where you are now, but not at the level that you're producing at. So just share with us just really quickly what that looked like when he was encouraging you to get into real estate, and why.
So my husband was a police officer, so he interviewed people all the time. And I think based on the way I argued with him, he's like, you have to get into real estate. Like you're going to kill this. So it was always a constant joke. You have to get in, you have to get in. And then when I got in, it's always been, I told you so, I told you so. So I think it's something he's seen way before I did. But because I had the support of him at home, it made it a lot easier to keep like driving my business higher and higher at this point.
Yeah. So you had strong support and strong circumstances in the back end, which I think is really important. And also having those that are and I know that he's kind of involved with your business as well from a communications perspective, not day to day on the ground, but having that buy-in from whoever's in your world is really important as well, right? And supporting you in being able to touch so many people, and to be able to to grow people that you don't know, right? These aren't people that you went to school with or had previous businesses with and so forth. So there was a lot of strangers that were coming into your world that you developed relationships with. So
but I started small, and I think I really believe that was the key. Like, don't try to go too big too fast, because it comes.
It's
But
the
just you have.
It's the organic growth and in providing the best experiences, because that's the best way to grow, right? Give one person a great experience, they talk about you, and then it just keeps growing organically.
And to this day, I'm still the first person will jump up and take a rental.
Absolutely. Hey,
It is
I
the
think a
best
lot of
opportunity.
And I think a lot of us forget that, because it's an interesting conversation that the fact that you brought that up is that some of us see rentals as half a month's commission. Others see it as I'm having an opportunity to build a relationship with somebody that's going to be with me for a while, right? And so it's a great perspective of looking at it that way. So Tara, thank you so much for your time. We learned so much from you. We felt a lot of your energy here today, and Dan put into the chat, and we'll put into the video as well once it's on YouTube, contact information. So anybody wishing to send Tara the best client experience that your clients could probably have if they're looking to move out to Ottawa through Jason Pilon's team as well, please go ahead and connect with Tara. She'll be happy to look after your clients that are moving out there. So thanks, Tara, and thanks everybody who has joined us today. And we wish you continued success, Tara, and everything, and the best in everything you do.
And
Dan.
make sure you reach out to her if you just want to know what she's reading and what she's listening to inspire her, because we've seen some great changes. And I'm just reading the chat here, and there's a lot of kudos coming to you from your team members and whatnot. So they obviously see some really great. I think you're being very, very humble during this interview, by the way. But a lot of it has to do with how you treat your people, how you follow up, and then also I believe it's how you treat the people that are also in your environment. And that's what has them wanting you to be around, and obviously continuing to support you in your success, because they're all here tuning in. I mean, they listen to you every day, but they're still showing up. They're still showing up to listen to you on this, which is obviously just as important as it is to you, is very important for them. So congratulations on being part of this collective and collaborative group. And thank you to all of you guys, and Johnder as well, for showing up today for the short interview. And we encourage you to listen to it later on. These little things here, guys, hopefully just give you some inspiration, because nobody started at the top. And but there's
one other thing, sorry.
Sure.
When I first got into this business, another thing I did was I asked to go to lunch with anybody that I thought were like the top agents. Don't be afraid to ask somebody to go for a lunch or for a coffee. It's an honor to be able to share what we do and to be able to share what works for us. So new agents, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's the best part of all of this. Congratulations on your success, and continued success to everybody. It's going to be a great year, guys, and thank you all for tuning in to the Driven Show by RE/MAX Hallmark.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
Bye for now.